The Tri-States is waking up to freezing rain this morning as we take a look over our sky cams across the Tri-State area. Continue to follow breaking news for you. We've got a live look at a scene near Ewing, Missouri, where more than 500 hay bales are on fire. Welcome back, 619. We're going to take you live now to news happening now in Washington. That's a live look at the Senate floor. That is U.S. Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois. It is the moment many Black Friday shoppers have been waiting for.
Here we go. I'm going to get out of the way. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Doors are open now at Menards for Black Friday, and here they come.
We're still on scene working to clear the highway after a livestock trailer carrying 170 hogs crashed early this morning.
David, what can you tell us?
Well, Dylan, I'm here at 210 Kentucky, where, as you can see behind me, the house is completely destroyed.
And we leave you with a live look this morning over the Adams County Fairgrounds in Minden. The fair kicks off today and runs through August 1st.
The interesting thing about carbon monoxide is you have no idea really that it's happening until sometimes it's too late. How important is it to have those detectors?
It's essential. When you talk about carbon monoxide, it's a colorless, odorless gas. And
from WGEM in high definition, this is WGEM News Today, the Tri-State's news leader.
When the vote is this close, then it's not over.
It is not over. That's the words from embattled Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore this morning as he refuses to step down despite a projected win by Democrat Doug Jones.
Plus, wind advisories in effect as we move closer to home. A live look underneath the Bayview Bridge, the water whipping up against the banks this morning. We've got advisories in place, and that's the story heading out the door this morning.
Meteorologist Kevin Scheib joins us in the Storm Track Weather Center with more on that. Wind advisories taking effect, Kevin, for some counties later this morning.
Yeah, they're going to kick in at 11 o'clock, but it is important to note it's windy in Quincy as well, even through the day. This afternoon, could see a couple of rain showers. I'll have details on that coming up.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. We're going to start at 6:02 this morning with a story dominating national headlines. And new this morning, Roy Moore is standing his ground, refusing to concede.
It comes after Democrat Doug Jones has done what few political observers once thought possible as the projected winner in the Alabama Senate race. Jones delivered his victory speech last night, family by his side at headquarters in Birmingham. This race had been dominated over the past few weeks of allegations of sexual misconduct involving teenage girls decades ago leveled against Roy Moore. Allegations he has repeatedly denied. Moore, however, still pleading to fight on, and officials actually say he can.
The vote is this close, then it's not over. And we still got to go by the rules.
There's always a chance of a recount because any candidate can ask for a recount, and if they pay for it, they can receive a recount. Now, there's an automatic recount provision where half of 1% of the vote threshold would automatically require that to occur.
Now, one interesting takeaway from this race, considering those allegations against Moore, NBC exit polling showing that those with kids under the age of 18 favored Doug Jones by 14 points in this race. Those without kids favored Roy Moore.
New this morning, parents, are you still paying bills for your grown child? If so, you're not alone. 75% of parents with adult children are paying for their children's debts and living expenses. That's according to a newly released study from creditcards.com. Greg Whitland with Heartland Financial Advisors says that students are leaving college with more debt. He says it's hard to find a job right out of college to pay down that debt. So Whitland says you have to make smart financial choices.
I mean, I think there's a lot of ongoing expenses that people today consider necessary that maybe aren't. I mean, I think, do you really need to be having the newest iPhone every year, the newest Android every year?
Whitland says that parents helping out is not a bad thing unless you enable your kids by helping out too much.
And meanwhile, 42% of Americans say making ends meet each month is what's caused their credit card debt. That's according to a new CompareCards.com survey of adults who didn't pay their credit balance in full last month. The poll found that spending on car repairs and medical bills were the next two biggest factors causing credit card debt.
A reminder this morning to stop and double check your belongings during this busy time of year. year. On Monday night, Quincy mother of 3, Bethany Caldwell, says she accidentally left her wallet in the shopping cart outside of Kmart in Quincy. When she came back minutes later, almost $400 in cash inside of her wallet was gone.
It was cold. Everyone's been sick. And I thought, okay, I got my kids. I'm assuming I got everything. I know I don't forget it. And that mistake was a thief's opportunity to take advantage of us. And it not only ruined my Christmas, it might have ruined my children's Christmas.
Local police say this time of year, a lot of people shop when they're exhausted and they make more mistakes when they're tired. Another suggestion, don't carry around large amounts of cash when Christmas shopping.
Well, a homicide investigation has been launched after a Clark County, Missouri judge's son was killed in a home in Columbia, Missouri on Monday night. The Boone County Medical Examiner's Office says 28-year-old Augustus Roberts was found dead in a rental home in East Columbia. He was found when police responded to a report of a suspicious person in the area. Officials say that he is the son of Circuit Court Judge Rick Roberts.
Adams County is getting a $25 million bond. The Adams County Board held an emergency meeting last night to accept the bond. It's needed, officials say, to finance construction of the new jail. The board will borrow $10 million this month and again next year, then $5 million in 2019 to fund the project. Construction of the new Adams County Jail is underway.
After months of back and forth, there's yet another change for Hannibal's Marina. Andy Dorian, the director of the Parks Department, says they're moving the boat ramp to the northwest corner of the marina instead of the southwest corner. Dorian says the change is only about 30 feet, but they're still trying to figure out what layout works best as the riverfront undergoes a major overhaul. The park board still needs to review plans, which then go to city council for final approval.
On the national front, California authorities say that a wildfire that destroyed 6 homes and damaged more than a dozen last week in Bel Air was sparked by an illegal cooking fire in a homeless encampment.
A city fire spokesman said investigators found the campsite in some brush underneath an interstate.
Beginning next fire season, fire officials now plan to start looking for such encampments and will notify police. No one was in the camp and no arrests have been made. The causes of the other fires burning in California remain under investigation.
In the meantime, an update on that story we first brought you yesterday on WGEM News at noon. Grief counselors will be on hand at a western Iowa school today after a deadly school bus crash. Police say shortly after 7 o'clock yesterday morning, the bus driver backed out of a driveway and ended up in a ditch. That's when the bus went up in flames. Police say they found the bodies of the 74-year-old bus driver and a 16-year-old student. At this point, there's still no word on what caused the fire.
Democrats are calling out President Trump for making what they allege is crude innuendo against a United States senator. Trump tweeted that New York's Kirsten Gillibrand would come to his office begging for campaign contributions and would do anything to get them. This tweet came after Gillibrand called on the president to resign, claiming there were credible allegations of sexual harassment and assault against him. Democrats are rallying behind their colleague.
That was an ugly, suggestive tweet. We all know what he was trying to say there, and it's beneath the office of the presidency for him to conduct himself that way.
The White House sees it differently, with the press secretary yesterday denying the president's tweet was sexist, saying that people's minds were in the gutter if they took any sort of sexually suggestive meaning from the post. Quick note for you, Savannah Guthrie will speak exclusively this morning on NBC's Today Show with Gillibrand.
Meantime, happening today, Minnesota's governor is expected to name Senator Al Franken's replacement. It is believed the governor's preferred choice is his Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith. Franken resigned last week amid mounting sexual misconduct allegations.
Also happening today, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein will testify before the House Judiciary Committee on Capitol Hill. Rosenstein will appear before the panel to discuss Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. Rosenstein appointed Mueller back in May after Attorney General Jeff Sessions recused himself from issues linked to Russia. The Deputy Attorney General has reportedly said that he is satisfied so far with the special counsel's work on the Russia probe.
Well, it's a windy start to the day already. Going to be windy all day long. Got a wind advisory in effect for some northern counties. Scotland, Clark, Lee, McDonough, Hancock counties under that wind advisory. Gusts today could be over 45 miles per hour, but that's everywhere in the tri-states, not just in those northern counties where the advisory is. Winds right now 15 to 20 miles per hour, temperatures in the 20s and 30s. So it's a chilly start, especially with those gusty winds. Our wind chills down in the 20s and a couple spots in the teens. Feels like 18 in Macomb, 18 in Fort Madison, 17 in Mount Sterling. Your full forecast just a few minutes away.
Kevin, also coming up at 6:09, polls were close yesterday heading into Election Day, but still many considering it an upset in Alabama as Democrat Doug Jones, the projected winner in the Senate race, but his opponent this morning saying not so fast.
We'll explain why coming up, plus a full look at that forecast, live look over the Quincy Riverfront this morning with the Bayview Bridge in the background and the flags flying up there in the sky. Kevin's got details on those wind advisories that are coming in the day ahead. It's 6:10. Good morning. Welcome back to WGEM News today. At 6:58, it is 68 degrees out there to begin your Friday. Here's this morning's top story recap. The Rawls County Sheriff's Office arrested an 18-year-old man from Quincy and a 15-year-old boy from New London for making a false bomb threat that shut down all schools in the Rawls County R2 school district on Monday. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and local doctors are stressing the importance of prevention. Oncologists at Blessing say research on breast cancer has come a long way. The American Legion Post 55 in Hannibal is no longer showing NFL games since the players started protesting during the national anthem. The open enrollment period for health care coverage through the Affordable Care Act this year is shorter than in years past. Families and Communities Together, or FACT, can help Missouri residents sign up at their office in Hannibal free of charge. John Wood Community College held a FAFSA filing night at Unity High School last night as families were able to ask questions and receive help filling out the forms. And that is this morning's top story recap. Here is Alexandra Carter and a look at what's coming up tonight at 5.
Cigna, one of the nation's largest health insurers, announcing it will stop covering OxyContin next year, describing the move as part of its effort to curb opioid abuse. The details tonight at 5.
Well, it's raining this morning, Dylan.
Sure is.
It's going to keep raining.
Coming on down.
Few hours. It is coming, not in here. If it did, we'd have a real problem inside the studio. That is not the case, though, luckily for us here. Temperatures in the 70s today. It's kind of mild out the door, so you want the umbrella. The jacket, though, honestly, even a light jacket, probably too much with that humidity outside. It's a little muggy. We're going to see more rain on Saturday, heavier rain Saturday morning. Could get a break later on today. Plan for some rain during football, though, and then temperatures next week really going to turn down starting Tuesday, back in the 60s.
All right, keeping an eye on the forecast. In the meantime, right now on the Today Show, the latest on the Las Vegas gunman, more developments on as they search for a motive in the shooting. That story on the Today Show and much more starting right now.